What's up? It's your girl Savage Flower.
Live for you, these new machine. You're now tuned in to the Rock the Block show.
Only on How Do You Need Radio Soul Flow.
It's only on How Do You Need Soul Flow.
Topic that we want to get into before we get up out of here, and it's the I was saddened a little bit by this news, but we about to get into it. Miami New Times report reads that starts off historic takeover. Miami commissioners move to oust Virginia Key Beach Board of Trustees. If you all don't know, just to give a little bit more context of the story, Virginia Key Beach is the historic black beach. Was the first beachfront afforded to black people during segregation here in South Florida.
Yep.
Since then, it's been going through a bunch of the property's been going through a bunch of restoration changes since the better half of.
I mean,
20 years,
20 years. That's just really what's been going on.
Yeah, that's what's been going on. That's basically what's been going on for the. So what does this mean to the community? What does this mean to the community? And what does this mean to the community?
That's an interesting question.
It is, because half of the community didn't know.
You get what I'm saying? Like the issue with Virginia Key Beach is that, you know, this is not a beach that's like heavily marketed. When we come up in Miami in school, you don't even know the history of the beach. You don't even learn. You don't even learn.
I never heard of a Virginia Key Beach when I was in
You don't even learn that it was 300 blacks, you know, approximately, because you needed a certain number of black people in order to incorporate the city. It was a large number of blacks who helped to incorporate this city. An overwhelming majority, it was majority black. You hear me? So we're not even taught that. So I think it's a lot of different ways we can go about that. Mm-hmm. And we've as people, as overall as black people, we have not been engaged.
We have.
And you can blame is to go around to everybody, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is not like, oh, fuck y'all don't matter. It's y'all fault. We gonna do what we want to do. But at the same time, it's more of a situation where things weren't passed down to us, no communication. They didn't try to create those bridges. And the beach been sitting for 20 years. It's I think the one time I went was in elementary school.
You only been there one time?
And we was talking about it. I was going to get to that, but yeah, one time.
I ain't gonna lie.
Damn.
They be out there having fun like it's the regular.
Man.
They don't know when I say they.
No, they don't.
They don't know.
So
they
it
be
was
out
supposed
there
to be used. So the beach was designated to be used, right? Mind you, Father Gibson and all our old timers, right? And you look up these people: Father Gibson, Garth Reeves, who was head of the Miami Times, even so much so, Dr. Curry. You know what I'm saying? They all went out there, in support of the beach. And so when you look at this has been going on since the inception, like since before this beach was Virginia Key. It was named Virginia Key after it was designated as a beach for black people. Before that, it was called Bears Cut.
Bears Cut, definitely. From that your segment.
Yeah. So it's just like a thing. I think it's blame to go around. It's I don't want to say. I'll say it. Fuck it. It makes you question what the leadership is in Black Miami. You know what I mean? About how efficient are we being? And you know what I'm saying? Certain things I agree need to be kept close to the chest, quiet until it happened. But things like this, this was a situation that it wasn't brought to me until a week out. And, people view me as a community leader and whatnot, but it wasn't brought to me until a week before it happened.
Yeah.
And this has been going, and Miami Times reported something as early as this article was in September.
So I think that's when the initial the initial city meeting took place where the board of trustees apparently asked for $300,000 in extra funding to employ 4 to 5 new employees, staff members, and the city the commissioner, or I forget his name at this right now.
No, it's a lady. So
it's a lady.
Yeah. So it went down. So here's the real thing, right? So it came down to the board of trustees. The park is under Dade County Parks. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's still run by Dade County, so they manage what happens at that park. You know what I'm saying? It's a partnership between the community and the government about what happens at that park. You feel me? And so if the government wants to do one thing and the community pushes back, you at a standstill. If the community want to do one thing but the government don't approve of it, you at a standstill. See what I'm saying? So it's been this back and forth all this time. You know what I'm saying? And as of late, you know, the reason why this is such a monumental thing is because now you have the board, you have Virginia Key Beach. You have Virginia Key Beach Trust, right? And then you have the city of Miami.
Yeah, that's 3 different sets of people.
And there's 3 different people. Now, you talking about the city of Miami. Now, it went from, originally it was on there that Christine King gets 5 appointments, which is District 5. You know, she's the chair. I don't want to say she's the chair, but I know she's a District 5 commissioner, right? And she gets 5 appointments to the Liberty City Trust. Mm-hmm. The board said, "Oh, we want each one of those. Like we all each want an appointment." So now it's being appointed by commissioners. That means now if the commissioner appoints somebody that he wants that align with his interests, right? Mm-hmm. Then, despite what the community want to do, they don't necessarily have to have community input. But that's just a procedure thing. You get what I'm saying?
So do you think?
And so, hold on. And so, prime example, Joe Carollo, and I hate to single him out, but Joe Carollo has been very vocal about the homeless community, right? And what to do with them. And so one of his proponents and one of the things he sponsored was the homeless
encampment like a mile away north of their property.
Yeah, which is in an actual brown site, which is reported contamination, environmental issue.
Damn.
So you gonna put them over there with that ethically, like realistically? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so they really, you know, the gist of the matter is they really want to develop the beach. This is a destination city.
Okay, so check it out. Do you think the interest of the community is protected more by the trust or by the city of Miami?
The interest of the community is
or is it up in the air on both ends?
If I would be, to be fair, it's up in the air on both. To be fair, it's up in the air on both. Because at the end, that's
kind of how I feel.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, that same trust and that same board, I don't know if they've been there the total duration of those 20 years, but you figured 1999 was when this board was formed. This trust was formed. 2004, they was given $15 million. Since then, now we in 2022. Fast forward 18 years, nothing has been done.
Nothing has been done. The chairman of I'm familiar with the chairman of the board, Patrick Raines. He's an awesome dude. I've known their family for some time now, and I feel it seems like for the better part of the decade at least, or at least the last 15 years, I feel like he's been on the board. Not sure if he's been appointed chair the whole time, but I know he has been on the board at least since we were in high school or something like that. But as you said, in the past 20 years, outside of, you know, and I had this conversation with him, and I'm playing devil's advocate here a little bit because we just want to deliver this news objectively, right? As you said, in the past 20 years, and mind you, I've been out there recently. As recently as this year, we were planning a couple events out there. Earlier this year, R.I.P. my boy Jeff, he passed away. We were planning a hell of an event out there, Virginia Key Beach. And so we spent a lot of time out there this year, and the beach is upkept, pristine. It's almost too pretty. It's almost not enough activity going on out there. But at the same time, you kind of don't mind it because the ecosystem out there is maybe a little bit more protected, low traffic coming through. But at the same time, there's a public beach. You want it to be utilized, especially by people in the community, from the community in which that the beach was purposed for. You know, so as you said, outside of the removal of some invasive plants, you know, he stated that they had some projects with the Army Science
Corps of Engineers.
Corps of Engineers.
They renourished the beach, so they did some things to kind of like protect it and preserve it,
right? But outside of that, you know what I'm saying? There's not.
It's a question of impact and outcomes, right? What is the impact of the board, and what is the outcome of the board? Meaning, all right,
does this really matter?
Like, what was the outcome of them getting? Like, what was the outcome of them getting $15 million? What have they done? What have they put out?
Can I ask you this?
And I mean, the $15 million was
$15 million
to create a black museum.
Okay, where is this funding now? If you said
they still got it,
they still got the $15 million.
Yeah,
hopefully
that money's been held up.
So,
but that's how much money is held up in government for years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And this is a part of the general, and mind you, that money, that $15 million, came out of the general obligation bond, and since then we've renegotiated that bond multiple times.
I don't even know. I feel like Nori right now, Drink Champs. That's
but that's why I felt like it was important for me to come on here, because y'all got a lot of people who don't know,
right? And
we can sit up here and talk about the problem instead of talking about, you know. But I'd rather focus on the solution. We got to be more involved in what does that look like.
What does that look? That look like the splash down. That look like the splash down. So let's talk about the days of community. So at this point, do you think if the community, if they had done more towards community outreach, spent more marketing dollars targeting the immediate community in which they would probably need some of the support from right now, I would almost assume.
Yeah.
Man, I was out there snorkeling the other day, and the vast sea life that I was able to just see just inspired me. I wanted to go buy a fucking spear gun after that. And I just see the Hispanic community come out, the white community come out to support the beach, but we're not there. Do you think it's due to poor marketing, poor community engagement, and if they would have established that, would they have been in a better space right now? Would they have been able to gauge the temperature of what maybe the beach would have needed to accommodate the people? Or do you think, like you say, black leadership in Miami disconnects from?
I think we needed better leadership that had better ideas to an extent.
Okay.
But, you know, the park, so here's the thing, the park designation, right? Mm-hmm. So the park is designated as a public space for people to, you know, recreate and go to the beach, essentially. Mm-hmm. That's what it was made for. And so I think we get stuck in, hey, it was designated for a beach, and that's what we gonna make it. And nothing else was developed on it. There was no other ideas presented that can keep the beach afloat and sustainable. You know what I'm saying? And I think the city tried to find ways to do that. And the biggest thing with the board was they didn't want no private developers to come in and take over the beach. Mm-hmm. And so, because at the end of the day, it is land. Right. It is real estate, and that is a reality. So, yeah.
And the Virginia Key controversy debate right now. What are your thoughts? What are the Hardeman's role in this whole process?
You know, some people had a view that Christine King is how you say that, somewhat a proxy to Keon Hardeman, meaning that they one and the same, and they in cahoots, and they with each other. And it's you know, to an extent, you know, I don't necessarily know the actual relationship between them to be a fact. Like I know it's a connection, but like a family connection, but I don't know it to present it as a fact. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I know they related. Okay. And then another thing is before Christine King was District 5 Commissioner, she also was the executive director of the Martin Luther King Jr. Economic Development Corporation. And so if you know anything about the MLK EDC was started by people like Arthur Lee Range, the Hardeman family, and other people. So and that was post MLK's assassination.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? In '68. So like they was formed since way back then, you know, as an economic development corporation, and they've been in the city. And right. so the actual question about what's the connection is just simply like, hey, District 5, MLK EDC, she moved from there. You know, MLK EDC is an organization that Keon, you know, works with closely. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of ties there. You know, and people question that like, oh, she doing the same thing that Hardeman was doing in District 5 with LaHaiti and other places. And at the same time, I think it's not just what she's doing with Virginia Key, but it's also what she's doing in Coconut Grove.
What was going on?
So it's so you know, if you know Coconut Grove ain't nothing. It's like almost like Overtown. It ain't nothing but like a few streets. You feel me? Yeah. And because of gentrification and whatnot, and you know that area is controlled by a trust and and things somewhat the similar setup. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying, to the beach, and so they got a little bit more protections. That community is a little bit more organized than what the beach is. The beach doesn't necessarily have a community. You know what I mean? Compared to Coconut Grove, but some of the same things are happening because of that disconnect between the young people and the old people. And I've been told that they simply just don't have access to it. But I can fault them in saying, hey, y'all ain't reaching out to us. Y'all ain't really seeking us out. Y'all just going with the normal business day to day and saying, well, we can do this. We don't necessarily need them. You know what I'm saying? So then when y'all die off, there's no succession plan, and we don't know what the hell happened. We ain't giving no training, no onboarding process. We just got to start from scratch. You feel me? And so that's what's happening. And I think the bigger issue is to talk about this issue, to keep it going on. The continuing conversation is, how do we engage ourselves in the process? How do we bridge that gap between the younger black generation and the older black generation? Because you have leaders that's capable, that are young, not myself. You know what I'm saying? Like but they are very capable. And I'm talking about it across industries, and we have a retention issue in Black Miami too, as well. And
explain that retention.
Retention of talent is just like, a lot of people leave Miami because they're not paying the money,
Or
the main reason is economics. They're not paying. They're not paying the money for the salaries. But you go out of town, you get double that.
Facts.
And so that and that speaks to a big issue. And these are all the issues that happen in black leadership. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And we can fault them because hindsight is 20/20, but we gotta look at it like, all right, what's our fault in it? We ain't doing nothing. We ain't seeking them out either. You feel me? As much as we don't know, we don't know where to look. So it's fault on both sides.
Facts, man. We 30 minutes over time. We'll pick this up definitely on another segment. Munch, it was a pleasure having you up here. I'm looking forward to having you up here more, man. Come up here, chop it up with us on the various topics that come across the headlines or whatnot, or come across our desk at least. Or if anything's on your mind and you want to just come up here and get it off your chest, you're more than welcome to any time, my brother. As for us, man, we're going to be tapping back in with y'all. Make sure y'all tune in this Thursday. We're going to have Joy, Love, and Hip Hop in the building, and amongst some other folk. Next week, Tuesday, we should be having the chairman of the Board of Trustees at Virginia Key Beach here, Mr. Patrick Range Jr. That being said, awesome show. Thank you all for tuning in. Good night.